Hi pet lovers, thank you for joining Gina's grooming channel. Today's subject is going to be on leads. We can also call these kennel leads or slip leads, but I'm going to go ahead and show you the proper usage of this tool that many pet professionals have to use in a grooming environment, in a kennel environment, in a veterinary environment. But I'm going to go ahead and show you tips and tricks to make sure that you stay safe and the pets in your care stay safe as well. So why use a lead? So a kennel lead or a slip lead is used in a professional environment to walk dogs. So this is what we use to walk dogs from reception into the back area, from between kennels if we're moving from kennel to kennel. Also, we take dogs out on potty walks with these. So make sure that you know that this is a tightening slip lead. So this is something that we're going to use with our dogs on the floor. So leads come in different materials and different styles, but really they do basically the same thing. Again, is to create a loop that's going to go ahead and go around the head and the neck of a pet or around the chest for some of our tracheal problems. But basically it tightens up, right, so that you can really secure a dog while you're walking a dog. So you're going to go ahead and loop this through, right? And this goes ahead and tightens. That's why you have to be really careful for dogs that have any tracheal issues or breathing issues, that we don't put anything around their neck or throat. But I'm going to go ahead and show you the basic anatomy and some of the styles of leads that are available to you. So there are different styles and different materials of leads. Let's go ahead and see some of the samples that I have here for you today, knowing that different people do use different things. This one is leather. And this one already has the loop, and I'm going to talk about making the loop in a second, already made for you with a handle. Okay, so this is what goes over either the head and neck of a dog or the chest, and we're going to talk about safety a lot in this episode. All right, and we have this braided rope, okay, so a little higher quality. This kind of a lead is really good if you have rambunctious dogs, if you have really strong dogs. And then we've got our basic flat nylon lead. This is what you'll see in most facilities, and this is what I'm going to go through with you guys, talking about the anatomy and usage of this type of a flat slip lead that has a ring in the front and a handle, and how to make this work. Okay, so let's look at the anatomy of a basic lead. Right now, it doesn't look like it can walk too many dogs, so we have to make it into a slip lead. So we have a metal ring at one end. We have at the other end a handle. Okay, I have seen people actually put the handle over dogs' heads. This is not how it works. What we need to do is we need to create a loop. So the easiest way to do this is just to take the handle, slip it through the ring, and now you've got your tightening slip lead. Now, another way to create this a little faster is that basically anywhere on the slip lead for these flat nylon types of slip leads, you can go ahead and just bend it through, and you've got a really quick way to go ahead and create a fast slip lead for you. What we have is the handle. This is what's going to go through your hand and your wrist. Just make sure you know that sometimes it's not enough. When you're handling dogs, especially larger dogs, you may want to make sure that you secure this, okay, so that the dog is kept safe while you're walking them. Okay, so now that we know how to make our basic slip lead, I'm going to go ahead and bring out an old friend of ours. Say hi, Pierre.
Hello, I'm back. Did you miss me?
Anyway, Pierre is going to be showing us how to use a slip lead properly, because we're going to be talking on an elevated surface. So I'm going to be demonstrating on an elevated surface. I would not use a live dog for this demonstration because of the safety precautions. Just as a review, if any one of you guys have watched our Grooming Loops and Grooming Arms episode, just as in a review, that on an elevated surface, working with dogs, we're going to be making sure that we use a static grooming loop. This does not tighten in any way. So just make sure of the difference between a grooming loop or grooming noose and what we're talking about today, which is what we use to walk dogs on the floor, not on elevated surfaces, okay, safely for you and for the dog. Okay, so let's go ahead and show how to use a slip lead. The basic principle, obviously, is you put it over the neck, the head and the neck and the dog. And basically now what you have is a tightening slip lead. Now you may be saying, oh my gosh, why would it tighten? This is for the pet's safety. When you're working in a kennel environment, you're going to be walking past different dogs in a hallway potentially, taking dogs out for potty walks. You may encounter other dogs that may not be very friendly. So you have to make sure that you have a solid hold on your dogs, still keeping them safe, making sure you don't put any stress on their throat. So I'm going to go ahead show you a technique that we go ahead and use to make sure that a dog's larynx, their trachea stays safe. And also if you have an elderly dog or a dog with special needs, we're going to go ahead and show you a technique for that. Okay, remembering again that we are going to be only using these on the floor, never use a slip lead on an elevated surface. I want to show you that for dogs that are not only special needs, have bad tracheas, also for dogs that are brachycephalic, where their neck and their bodies are kind of the same width, is that we want to do something called a harness. So instead of putting it around the dog's throat and neck, we're going to go ahead, lift up a paw, get it under their armpit, okay? And this way we can go ahead and walk the dogs on the ground, okay, but a little safer, keeping their throat safe. Okay, so now that we got the basic usage and the safety precautions with any dogs that shouldn't have any pressure around their throat, I want to show you a technique that we have used in the past when we have to evacuate dogs in a facility, which does happen if there's emergencies. You basically are going to be taking your leads, but you may be walking dogs in a public area. So where there's traffic on a street, making sure that you get them into safety and wherever you are evacuating them to. Now, I have definitely not been secure enough with one lead in these situations, whether or not it's around their throat or whether or not it's around their chest. So I'm going to show you a double way. So using another slip lead, okay, and that we're going to go ahead and make, we have options, and this keeps the dogs a little safer, again, when you're walking them in a public area in case of an emergency or in case you have to walk a dog to potty break somewhere where there's traffic or dangerous situations. So what we do is we just basically double up on the slip lead. So what I'm going to do, so if he does have a bad trachea or if he's brachycephalic, I can just go ahead and harness it, cross it over, okay, his body. But if it's a healthy dog, what you can do is have one around the neck and throat, right? And one around the arm. Now, when using slip leads in any way, make sure you're noticing if the dog is having any strain on their throat. So you'll sometimes hear a dog choking like that. That means that it is too tight around their throat. It's tightening up. Sometimes dogs pull against a lead and they can go ahead and choke themselves. So just be very careful if you have a dog in that situation. You do want to talk about, you want to look into doing a harness for them or a double harness if they are rambunctious. Now, another thing I want to show you that you can do with two slip leads, this is for safety if you have an aggressive dog. Now, a dog could be a very, very nice dog in most situations, but they can be something called cage aggressive. So if you're putting them in a kennel or in a run or in a room, a hotel room, sometimes they can go ahead and snap back at you. You also have a thing called leash aggression, where dogs will be fine, but the moment that they have a leash or something stimulating them, such as a leash, they're going to go ahead and try to bite that leash or be aggressive around that leash. And of course, you just have dogs that are plain aggressive, so you have to be really careful when handling them. Now, when using a slip lead like this, there is a way that you can go ahead and prepare for a dog that you may need to be a little farther away from when removing a slip lead. So let me show you this technique. So I'm going to take one slip lead that I made. Okay, so I've got my loop. I'm getting ready, and be ready when you're creating these loops. Sometimes you will need to kind of lasso a dog from afar if they're aggressive. So make sure that you have enough give, and then make sure you tighten. Make sure not too tight, obviously, but secure them. And then what we're going to do for this is I'm going to open up this slip lead all the way back to the beginning. So where we had just the handle and the ring. Okay, so now I've got one that is deconstructed. Okay, and what I'm going to do is create the loop that we learned to do, okay, right through that handle. And what I'm creating is a handle for my loop. So if you guys can see what I did there, okay, so when I'm putting this over a dog, and let's say Pierre is aggressive, which you can see he's not, but now I have basically two leads, but one is allowing me to loosen or tighten. So I've got one lead that I'm tightening with, and I've got another one that I can loosen. So if I'm working with Pierre and he's aggressive, right, and I have to go ahead and place him in a run or a kennel or a boarding room, and I'm scared to go ahead and take off this lead, this allows me to loosen up the lead from farther away, okay, and remove the lead. So this is a really good tip and trick to keep you safe and also make sure that you don't get bit by an aggressive dog. Okay, so last but not least, I'm going to show you how to do a quick release knot using slip leads. This comes in very, very handy and keeps you very safe because I'm going to show you a few no-nos and then I'm going to show you how to do it right. Okay, so first time people go ahead and are using a lead, remember now we have our loop made, okay, and we're going to have a pet in here. A lot of times people will go ahead and just hook the lead onto a hitch. So a lot of facilities will have a hitch to walls in different places of the facility so you can go ahead and secure your pets. You'll also see this in grooming salons. But if you just throw the handle off and you have a rambunctious dog, this can come off really, really easily. Another thing that I've seen people do, just their reaction, is they're going to go ahead and just tie a regular knot or some way, maybe loop this around a few times or whatnot. Now, okay, effective. It won't really go up above the hitch. But now if you've got to release a dog, you have to go through and this dog is trying to bite you. So they're between this loop. You have a big mess to go through. This does not work well at all. This is really dangerous. So we're going to go ahead and show you a quick release knot, how to use that on a lead to keep yourself safe. All right, I'm going to lean down. I'm bringing Pierre into this so you guys can see how it works with a real live dog. So here we got Pierre secured. Now say Pierre is aggressive or even in a consideration is that Pierre can have seizures. We want to make sure that we release him and have him in a safe place very quickly so we're not stuck here trying to undo this knot. So here is the trick. Whether or not you have an opening in your hitch or you have to loop around, doesn't matter. So what I'm going to show you here is I'm going to do a basic loop, okay? But then I double up on the nylon and now I've created a very strong, so I'm pulling with a lot of force here. Okay, so this would be where my aggressive dog or my special needs dog, whatever dog may be in need of a quick release. Now, but here I've left the handle. With this quick release, I can go ahead and release the pet very quickly. Well, all right, guys, that's about it for slip leads. So leads, kennel leads, and how to safely use them, making sure you only use them on the ground when walking pets on the floor. Never use a slip lead on an elevated surface with any live animal. If you guys have any questions or comments, please put them down below. Click the thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe for more like it. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining.